Here we go.
Hi, welcome back to Roaming with Restless Women. As you can hear, I'm a little under the weather today, but I sound worse than I feel, so that's a good thing. Today, I've got with me a really great innovator and someone who is very concerned with our teens and tweens of today, and I can't wait for her to share her story. Jane Hoffman is an artist and a mental health advocate. She is the founder of Mood and the Mood Tools app. When you download it, look for the little bubble logo, okay? I'll put that in the show notes for you. Jane's inspiration for creating Mood comes from her personal journey supporting her teenagers through their mental health challenges. During this time, Jane encountered powerful emotional regulation tools that played a crucial role in helping her children and family cope and heal. Through Mood, Jane is bringing these invaluable tools to a broader audience of adolescents and empowering them to navigate and manage difficult emotions. In addition to leading Mood, Jane is a visual artist. You can see some of her art behind her, who has been working under the name Maxwell Studio for more than 25 years. So, welcome, Jane. I'm so excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor. So excited.
Well, I can't even tell you how excited. I love having artists on the show. I really do. So tell me about how all of this got started. I read a little bit about the founding of it, but tell me more about how you came to where you are right now.
Thanks so much. So as you said, I was a visual artist and still am for the last 25 years and have had just a really fun and rewarding career. And I was bringing up three children, and two of my teenagers, late teenagers, really struggled with some mental
Mhm.
health issues. And it was so challenging and so frustrating and lonely and all the things. And I was one of the really lucky ones to have the resources and wonderful care around me. And while I was helping my children, I found these wonderful tools that were so helpful in our lives and things we still use today. And I realized that I could actually take my creativity that I've had as an artist, and I could use it to create something that was helpful to the world and something that I really felt like it was my time to give back. And my idea was to take these emotional regulation tools, many of which are in more clinical psychological settings, and put them in a way, create them in content that is creative, that's fast, that's proven, and that kids really want to use. So, what we've done is we've created an app called the Mood Tools app with 60 fun, free tools that really work. And they are everywhere a kid is today. They're in their phone, on their app, they're on social media, and we have wonderful content that really meets kids where they are.
And so give me one example. It doesn't have to be one of your kids, obviously, for their privacy, but give me an example of a situation or an issue that a kid might be struggling with, and then what one of the tools are that helps them.
Great, wonderful question. So, the great thing about these tools is that we want them to be used every day for kids with everyday issues. You have a kid that has trouble getting up in the morning because they're too stressed to go to school. You have
Mhm.
someone that's going to a party and has social anxiety, someone who's going through a divorce of their parent. It's endless. The amount of emotional dysregulation we as adults have, but certainly kids have when they feel lonely, when they feel anxious, they have a test coming up, they feel left out. And our idea is to give tools for all of these little situations in a kid's life. So I have a couple of favorite tools. There's so many.
Mhm.
Um, but one of my favorite is called butterfly tapping. And so if you or your child is struggling, you can demonstrate it or teach them. And essentially, you put both hands up by your chest, you link your thumbs, and you tap on your chest slowly. You can close your eyes, you can breathe, and you keep doing it, and it's very, very soothing. So
Mm.
that's one of my favorites. I'm happy to sprinkle them throughout this interview. Another one
Hmm.
you can do just by using your hand is you put your hand up and you breathe in as you go up a finger and you breathe out as you go down a finger. And then you keep going in, out, in, out. And you keep going and you trace your
Yeah.
entire hand. So that's another tool. So obviously those are two, one of those is a breathing tool, which helps kind of slow down our nervous system, bring us back into our body, and give us a moment to just pause and collect ourselves. And all of the tools are kind of fun and engaging, and they're easy, and they're just right at your fingertips, no pun intended, because they're on the Moo Tools app. So I'd love to show you the app. Is that is that okay?
Yeah, let me open up the sharing.
Okay, great.
Okay, go ahead.
So you open up the app, which is again a free download.
Okay.
You can, you see that you have little emojis for your mood or for how your body feels. You might feel fidgety, your heart might be racing, because some people don't know how they feel, right? Kids sometimes can't express it. So tapping into your body
Yeah.
and being like, my hands are sweaty or I have butterflies. So you can tap on that. So let's say my heart is racing. So I tap on the heart and it gives me two tools. And then you press on the tool. So 60-second breathing is one of the breathing tools, and it leads you in an animated visual right through the tool. And you just scroll at your leisure and you do the tool. And if you don't like that one, you go back and you can click on another. You can find two more. Here's one called Zoom Out, which is one of my favorite tools. So, Zoom Out is if you're having an issue and you're just so in the moment and you're like, this is my issue, I'm going to feel this way forever. I know it. I'm just going to be anxious forever. If you say to yourself, well, how do you think you're going to feel in 3 days? How do you think
Yeah.
you're going to feel in 3 months? What about 3 years from now? Do you really think you're going to be thinking about this problem? So, it gives you kind of a new perspective.
Very cool. And it looks so simple too. It's
They're
not, I
real.
don't have to learn how to use a whole, new thing. And
You
I'm
don't.
thinking,
They're really simple. And the thing is they work. So
yeah,
there's science behind a lot of these tools and they work. And, I find that a lot of things in mental health today can get convoluted
yeah,
and there's so much explanation. And with these tools, it's just you click and you follow and you don't like that one, you swipe and get another one. And right now we have over 60 tools and we're adding them every week. We're adding another one.
yeah.
So it's exciting.
So, you don't have, let me make an assumption. You don't have a mental health background. You're not a
So
therapist. So who are you partnering with to make sure that these tools are appropriate for whatever? I mean, let's say a kid is depressed, for instance, and it's more than just a mood. It is, bigger than that. What happens at that point?
So I am not a therapist. I'm
Yeah.
just a mom. And so what we done on our board, we have three different a psychiatrist. We have a psychiatrist, a social worker, and they're absolutely wonderful. And
Yeah.
they all the content creation. We are not a site for acute situations.
Hmm.
We are a site for kids every single day that are struggling with everyday issues. What we have found and what our psychiatrists tell us is that it's the everyday injury, starting in middle school, starting in fifth grade, that go without resolution, where a kid is not helping and acknowledging that these small injuries, like not making the team, like not being invited to the party, that those go ignored and they build
Yeah.
and build and build. And that, in addition, obviously, to biological factors, can cause more acute issues. So we're trying to go backstream to a kid and help them with really working on the everyday emotion. On our app and on our website, we do have resources, and we're happy to help in that way, of course. But we're trying to reach the kid with everyday feelings and help prevent a larger problem down the road.
Excellent, excellent. I asked that question because I know a lot of people are we were just talking about, the couple that is suing ChatGPT because, of that. And so I think a lot of people their heightened awareness of, I need to understand the background of this tool before I let my child look at it or use it. And so I'm
Which is
glad that you offer that.
Which is
Yeah.
a great question. And they're based on some modalities, some psychological modalities, dialectical behavioral therapy, CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. They
Mhm.
all come from science.
That's
Many of
great.
many of these tools were created for kids in clinical settings, in inpatient, in therapist offices. That's where they were created. And we're feeling like, okay, that's fantastic. But how do we get them in the hands of kids every day? And we
Yeah.
felt like putting them in an animated content that we create a visual that kids want to use. And they are proven, which is really
Mhm. So let me go down a little bit of a different tack for you. So here in Florida, we have a new practice or a law. I don't know if it's a law, but it is a practice. That's school systems are not allowing cell phones in the classrooms at all, literally. And there's controversy around which, does it hurt the learning journey or, whatever. In a situation like that, I mean, I'm thinking of a kid sitting in class and for whatever reason, they get bullied or they get mocked or, something like that happens. Um, in my mind, it would be great for them to be able to have the tool right there in their hand so that they can regulate themselves. However, if they don't have that, then at least they know, like if they've used the tool, they don't need the tool.
great.
If they know the breathing, the 5-minute breathing technique or the butterfly thing, they don't need the tool in front of them to do that. This tool is helping them to be self-sufficient, seems to me like.
Yeah, I think that there's a few answers. Um,
Yeah.
One, we have tools that are kind of on the go. So we have something called a wearable fidget. So where you would put maybe an elastic band on your wrist, or you have your favorite necklace. And our idea is when you're in a classroom and you're feeling that way, you reach for your fidget and just, maybe tap it 3 times or something so we have tools for in a classroom.
Hmm.
But we also have a classroom program. So
Okay.
we have called something called Mood Classroom, and there are 20 lessons that are free for teachers to download. It's on our website, mood.org, and they are 15-minute, really wonderfully animated and engaging lessons. They're actually songs. We have songs and music videos that are so catchy. We have wonderful teachers who are using it, and I have one teacher who loves it, and she has Mood Monday. And the kids are like, let's get to Mood Monday. We can't wait to get our little lesson. And the teacher imparts tools. and helps them together as a class. They do the tool. And it's really a wonderful program. And so we're hoping to get that word out there as well, which is great. The other thing is our content is really for teachers, parents, social workers, pediatricians, anybody that comes in contact with kids. We're hoping parents will download the Mood Tools app as well. We're hoping that teachers will have it in their back pocket so that they can see that their class is dysregulated, remember a tool or quickly look at the app and actually have their class as a group do butterfly tapping or as a group do breathing exercises or one of them, over 60 tools that we have. So,
Hmm.
um, so we're trying to think of all those scenarios and really help kids where they are every day.
Absolutely. Well, you can count on me to make sure that at least the teachers and the doctors that I know will hear about this. That's for
That would
sure.
that would be great. That would be great. All the lessons are free and downloadable right on mood.org.
Okay, so I have another idea that I want to throw out there with
Cool.
you to
Love new
you.
ideas.
All right, you and I talked. We both have brand new grandsons.
Mm.
And, I'm thinking about even just the two tools that you shared with me. They're easy enough that as soon as a kid begins to, you know, um, share their emotions or understand that they're having them, you don't have to wait until they're in the fifth grade.
Not at all. Not
So,
at all. So I think that that's wonderful. So we're starting with teens and tweens, and we're talking to the parents, and we are trying to spread the word as far and wide. I honestly have had people tell me, professors in college, I'm going to bring this into my college classroom.
yes.
Preschool teachers saying, I'm bringing this into my everyday classroom in my preschool. So we are really not limiting it. We want to open it to everybody. And in time, we want everybody in the world to be using this app. We want everybody to have the Mood Tools app because I use it every single day. I really do. Another one of my favorite tools is called Doorway Affirmations. And essentially, it's every time you go through a doorway. And it turns out we go through something like 30 to 100 doorways a day, just crazy.
Yes.
Every time you go through a doorway, you tell yourself a positive affirmation. So you walk through and say, today's going to be a good day. I'm a good person. I'm trying really hard. And anything positive that you can train yourself every time you walk through a door. So that's another one of my favorites.
Oh, that's perfect. Well, I don't see an age limit
There
to
really
these
is
tools.
not an age limit. I mean, anybody can use these anytime. And they need to become part of our everyday life. We all move so fast, and we're
Yeah.
all looking down at our phones all day long. And the other nice thing about these tools is they take like 3 minutes. These are not labor intensive sit down tools that
Yeah.
like work. They're more like a respite from your life. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I love this. Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit because I want to know a little bit more about you personally and your art.
Thank you so much.
So,
This is so
Jane,
great. I really, no, I really appreciate it. I actually have my 25th solo show coming up. I know,
yay.
crazy. At La New Gallery in Boston. And you know what? It's going to be after January, so you'll have to edit
Okay.
that. But
Okay.
my latest work, my latest series is called In Your Face.
Okay.
And it is all about how women, as we age, have this pressure, to be better, to feel
Yes.
perfect. And it's this push-pull between my art has been highly focused on the push-pull as a woman, that we have all of these beauty products and all of this societal ideal that we try to live up to. And yet we're tired and we're sick of it. And what do we do, right? Do we age gracefully? or do we get a syringe plunged into our forehead, a syringe of
Yeah.
both? So for my latest show, I've collected, my daughter actually is an aesthetic RN, and for 2 years, she's collected empty Botox vials and all the packaging. And my show is created from all of that fodder. And so it's really fun. I've had a kind of a wonderful career talking about things that I think about and I think so many women wrestle with.
Well, I'll tell you what, do me a favor and pull your screen down so they can see what's behind you.
Oh yeah, so this is a piece of mine.
And what is that called? That's so cool.
Gosh, you know what? It's such an old piece, I forget. But you know what?
It looks like every woman.
It's kind of every woman, and it's a little bit of the repetitive.
Yeah, I
Uh,
see that.
there's a bit of a like the sound, the noise in your head, the repetition, and how we all try to kind of be alike in a way. We're all
Yeah.
following the fashion trends, and there's a way in which we're all a little bit like troops marching on. So,
I love that because that was exactly what I thought when I saw it before we started the video is, oh my gosh, I see this repetition. I see the faceless and I
exactly.
see elements that are the same and elements that are different. But it's clear that the people in the clothes are kind of disappeared,
Yeah,
you
it's true.
know. And I
There's
think,
this
yeah,
very interesting something that I've been wrestling with my whole life and something that I really comment on in my art is who do we present to the outside world and how does that compare to kind of our messy inside? And
yes,
push pull of like who we are really at the end of the day and what we present versus what we feel and go through. And it's interesting that it's led me to mood because it's similar, right?
very much. Yeah.
Kids today are feeling this pressure of what the outside world expects of them and how to behave in the world. And it's anxiety provoking. So it's
Yeah.
interesting kind of full circle moment for my life in terms of my art and now mood, addressing a lot of the same things. So it's
I, f-
interesting.
I find it very interesting that if you think back before the age of, world communication, big like not necessarily as much radio, but television and the impact that that has had. And it's a great thing in opening up the world to all of us. I think we live a better and a more deep and rich life knowing what's out there. But by the same token, what is presented to us as good or right or pretty or whatever, that then becomes what we aspire to as opposed to aspiring to be who we really are, whoever that is. So
I think
I think your art is very much
it's
grounded in that.
much
Yeah.
talking very much talking about that. And I feel that it leads, in terms of mood, it's so much about self-love,
Yeah.
and finding ways to, whether it's through doorway affirmations where you're saying nice things to yourself, or I have a tool where you just take sticky notes and put them on your mirror to tell you you're okay. Um, so how do we balance what society is telling us, which is pretty much you're not okay, right? It's offering
Yeah.
the next
No one is okay.
that no one is okay, that our
Right.
skin isn't quite right and our fashion isn't quite right and our bodies aren't quite right.
We're not the
And
right color.
exactly.
That's
And
crazy.
and so it's really it's a tough, complicated world. It really is. And I think
Yeah.
for all of us to manage, and particularly kids who are kind of, trying to grow up in this world. And, I think you mentioned something interesting, which is the world has opened up to us. And with everything, there's nuance and double edge. Things can be good and things are really difficult at the same time. And both can be true. And
Yes.
what's interesting is we actually have a tool that's called Both Can Be True. And the reason why this tool was created, is because kids can find things so confusing.
Yeah.
And I remember learning, it's called dialectics in the psychological world, but we made it easier for kids to understand that both can be true. So you can both want to stay home and watch TV and go to the party. You can be really pissed off at your mother and still love her. And it just gives permission to have both feelings. And
Yes.
it's a really good tool to just kind of make life less confusing, because it's when you have all these different competing feelings, it's hard. And I think that happens in our society a lot today.
I think a lot of the trouble that we have in the society is A, everyone wants to be right, and B, it's either this or that.
Exactly. So
It's
it's that,
never both. It's never a decent blend, and it's really all about pleasing other people as opposed to living your life as authentically as possible. Um,
yeah, I mean, I
so
love that. We call it middle thinking.
yeah,
So, instead of being a black and white thinker where, this is bad, this is good. I failed my math test, so I must be a terrible person or a terrible student.
yeah.
It's like to recognize the black and white thinking and be more curious and get to a middle place, where you have more acceptance and more self-love and more self-compassion. But like anything, it's hard, it's hard when you're in the moment.
Oh
And,
yeah.
even as adults, it's hard. It's, from back to my art, when I see, the new serums on Sephora, I'm like, do I buy them and try it, or do I just don't wash my face, It's like a decision I
Yeah.
make every day.
Yeah, believe me, I'm at the point that it's like, you know what? I am who I am.
I know. I know. I know. And good for
And
you. And me
you
too.
know
Some
who,
days, some days I aspire.
right? My question to myself is this something that makes me feel good? Not like making me feel good is the be all end all. But am I going to spend my time and energy putting on slabs of makeup if I'm going to sit in my house all day on the computer? No, I'm going to let my skin breathe.
Absolutely.
If I have a call and I need to get on Zoom, they take what they get.
Absolutely. I know. Me too. Hair in a ponytail, take me as I am.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, well, I have three questions that I ask at the end of every episode, and thank you so much for hanging in with me on this with my voice. My first question is, if you could close your eyes just for a moment.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. In your mind's eye, describe what you see when I say wise woman.
I see someone who's really curious, someone who's really curious about
Yeah.
them, about themselves, about others, about the world, and someone who is not being judgmental,
Hmm.
being curious about just about everything, asking questions, really listening. To me, that's what it means to be a wise woman.
Absolutely. My second question, where do you like to roam?
Oh boy, I love to roam outdoors. I love to roam by water, particularly,
Yeah,
and close my eyes and just listen either to the lapping of water of a lake or the ocean waves. Um, and I like to roam into uncomfortable territory.
I love that.
I really do. It's part of the curiosity thing. I like to roam in a place that's going to make me think something that I didn't know I didn't know about. I really do. So
Yeah.
I do both. So I do the really comfortable ocean waves, and I do the, give me something I don't know. And I think that's where I'll grow.
Absolutely. And the final question, what makes you restless in a good way?
What makes me restless is not seeing my grandbaby enough.
Me too.
I feel like, oh my gosh, how am I going to have the time to see him as much as I want to see him? Um, and I think, what makes me restless is staying in this kind of growth mindset, staying in this growth.
Yeah.
And, I can get a little impatient, with mood. I want, 10 new tools and I want us to reach all the people you want me to reach, and I agree. Like, how do we get this to infants and how do we get this to grandparents? And so I get really, I would say impatient is another word for me for restless.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're soul sisters in that regard, that's for sure.
We are, I can tell. This is so
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you for all the wonderful questions.
Well, thank you for being on the episode. And folks, when you get a chance, download this app. I'm going to try it myself. I can't wait to see it. And actually, I'm going to give it to my daughter to help raise my grandson
I think it's a great idea. I
and
really,
help them
really,
with their emotions. Yeah, for sure. Thank you
wonderful.
so much, Jane. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
You too.
Julie Noonan here. Thank you so much for listening to Roaming with Restless Women. If you're a successful senior woman leader who would like to be on this program, please visit podcast.intuitivewisdomcoach.com. If you enjoyed this interview, please share this episode on social media and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Your thumbs ups and reviews go a long way.